Good morning, bonjour, moin. This is another tracker update with Lutz. Today on the 25th of January. Don got invited by Jessica Watson to watch a premiere of her new Netflix movie True Spirit. Jessica, most of you probably know, Jessica Watson is the youngest solo circumnavigator, and she already released a docu, but about her feet, but Netflix offered to do a movie, and there's a premiere today, so it's good fun, and that's what I'm taking over today. So usually there's nothing serious if I'm doing the tracker update, and Don is fine and Jane is fine, and I'm just jumping in. So, jumping right into it, at the back of the fleet, today's a big day because the last boat in the race is passing Cape Lewin. It's Guy Waits, and he's going to have a little bit of wind the next days. He's having a solid northwesterly at the moment, and with a southwesterly swell, so it's a bit nasty, I guess. And if we toggle the next 2-3 hours, there's a bit of a blow coming through, but nothing extraordinary. So he's gonna have like 30-35 knots, and I always have to giggle myself, when we say like, oh, nothing extraordinary, there's gonna be like gusting 40 knots. It's still gusting 40 knots, but anyway. So it's not the first time now that they get them. So for them, I guess, and what they say on the phone, it's really they get ready, they see it, the wind swings north west, and then it swings around to the north, to the southwest, and so it goes. But he will actually be happy as soon as it passes, and then there's a bigger wind field, so you will have sustained stronger winds over the next days. But they're all coming from the southwest, so he's gonna have following seas and following winds on a broadish reach. Going south, he's making the decision to just carry on, and I guess so. He wants to be as quick as possible at Cape Horn. At the current course he's doing something like this, so he probably might just sling around New Zealand all for good and get into. We will see. It's going to be interesting how far he will go south. And as explained, you will be able to track Guy as soon as he passes the longitude of Hobart. And talking about tracking the others, I also had a quick look at PRB. So you can also go to my.yb.tl/PRB. And then you have Damien's personal tracker. He's bringing PRB, his rustler, back home, back to France at the moment. He passed St. Helena, and he's rocketing along. So last time, 6.2 knots and 5.9 knots, 5.9 knots. So he's having really good. He must have having good winds, and he's on a straight course to then do the round and go up to Cape Verdes, the Canaries, and then back home. And then we have another one who was on that route past St. Helena, but he's not going straight back to France. But no, instead he's going for a Caribbean vacation. That's our friend Arno Geist on board Faye of Shanghai, Hermes Föhning. And he will be making landfall soon. There will be a little bit of an interview, and it's all good fun. And we are happy to see that he's safe, and he's going to be back on land soon after quite some days. I mean, he hasn't stopped, just like our remaining GGR skippers. He has not stopped and not been on land ever since Les Sables d'Olonne. So that's going to be good fun. But back to the GGR skippers who are still in the race. We carry on with Ian, so they're having some good wind. Finally, the wind filled in. It was not that easy to get out of Hobart for them. They have a northeasterly at the moment, northeasterly. So Jeremy is on a proper beam reach, probably a bit before the beam even, doing 4.5 knots, and Ian is doing 5.5 knots, heading a bit further south. So it's going to be tricky to get through the gate here if he heads further south. But if we toggle the forecast, we see that they will have very nice westerlies, so then southwesterlies coming in, and then there's a massive high pressure, which hopefully will get them through. Or if it moves, so that's the 27th, we're going to see something like that happened like with Abilesh and Kirsten, that they just get stuck above the snares. So fingers crossed that that won't happen, that won't happen, and that they just get a nice push in the next days. If we toggle the distances, that's 500 miles, so that's about 3 days, three to 4 days. So I think 24, 27 they will be the high, and then 29. Okay, so I guess when they are here, when they are at the snares, at the forecast, I would estimate now that they will have wind to push through. But that's in 4 days, so a lot of things can happen until then, right? And that was quite interesting when I toggled for tomorrow. Wow, there's a big low just roaring through in the south, and that's going to be something very interesting that we're going to talk about with Simon once we get to him. But first we talk about Guk. He's having really good winds. He's very happy, jolly sailor. He sent a nice tweet yesterday that he's very tired because it's a lot of speed and a lot of wind and like good sustained winds. And he's really quick. He's rocking along 6.2 knots. But that he's a very happy sailor as well. So that's good. That's what we want to hear. So he's having a nice south westerly with waves with the southwesterly swell. So following winds, following seas. On a nice broad reach. It's also not dead downwind. So I think, this is just just best situation you can be in, right? You have a nice broad reach sailing, so with the waves and the wind coming from the same direction. So he will be able to continue that for a little while. The wind will abate a bit, but still enough. It's going to be 20-25 knots. That's tomorrow morning. And then it lightens off a bit. There will be a bit of a patch of light winds before the back of this. This should be, it's the high pressure there. The back of it moves along and will continue giving him good winds. So the next 2, 3, 4 days, he will see really nice conditions for him. Which is good. Oh, and it was great. I had to laugh a little bit because I kept commenting on Bernard Motissier and that he's going into the no-go zone, and then he went out again. I did not know that. I originally plotted this digital track, but of course it's so many points, and I took them all from the book that I couldn't remember all that. But now he's back in there, so I guess I have to send him a YB message to get out again. But he knows the wind is south, so probably that's just what he's doing. And then we are moving on to Kirsten and Abilesh. So they had another period of not much wind, even though they're doing pretty good speed, 6.3 and 6.5 knots, which is fantastic. But they're going to have quite some wind coming in. And what's very interesting is that we can observe what's developing here. Like just between them now, if we move on a bit, you see there's this low forming, and it's already very, very quickly it's gaining in strength. And this is we're already talking about 50 knots here, 50 gusting, 60 and so on. And that's just tomorrow. That's in 24 hours. So if we then plot that along with on our track and have a look at Simon. So this is tomorrow morning at 9:30 UTC. and then we go to 24 hours forecast, bang. So there's a big low pressure. This is really strong winds. This will be the strongest he had. So we sent him a warning about the strong weather, that there will be a big deep low coming and forming in the next 2 days, and that he can think about options. So maybe he goes northeast, or he dips south, because the low is forming straight into right along the rump line, and then going south to the Cape. So there's a big system forming. We definitely keeping track on that and keeping Simon in the loop on it, so he can get ready. But yeah, so that's something to have on the radar, definitely. And the seas will be crazy. So that's all very interesting. And if we look further, so Jean-Luc, my typical thing that I like to measure, that I like to have a look at, between Simon and Jean-Luc. So he gained again. Jean-Luc gained again on him. It's 1,032 miles now. And then going around Cape Horn. So the race is still on, and Jean-Luc is holding that position for now. Cool, that's it. And and if I will be doing a speech, I will doing a presentation on Saturday at Boot Düsseldorf at 12 o'clock, from 12 to 12:30. I will talk about the GGR and have a little interview. It's going to be all in German. Das wird auf Deutsch sein. But if you're around and if you're at the boat, definitely say hi, come around. I'm going to be at the Sailing Center, 12 to 12:30, talking about the GGR at Boot Düsseldorf. And then in the afternoon, I will do another session on the OGR, on the Ocean Globe race. So definitely say hi, come around, and I would be absolutely thrilled to meet you and have a chat. So that's it. Thank you very much, and have a fantastic Wednesday. Thank you. Bye bye.